Deep is a privately owned company based here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We founded the company a number of years ago in order to develop geothermal resources for power generation that will be sold into the Saskatchewan grid. Geothermal energy is naturally occurring heat that is sourced from deep within the earth. It comes to the surface in many different forms. The most kind of obvious, most conventional household idea would be when we picture Yellowstone National Park, the big geysers, or if you think of the geysers in Iceland and some of those resources. In Saskatchewan, of course, we don't have volcanoes or those types of resources. So what we have in Saskatchewan is actually considered a blind geothermal resource, where the heat is captured in a deep saline aquifer about 3.5 kilometers from surface. The Williston Basin is a sedimentary basin within our province that hosts our potash resources, our oil and gas resources, and at the very base of that bowl has been, until recently, an ignored aquifer that we can use for geothermal power production. Our focus is right along the US border, where the basin is the deepest, and therefore the geothermal resource is the hottest. Essentially, the deeper we go, the hotter it gets. Geothermal is the closest renewable energy source that can transition from oil and gas expertise into a renewable energy source for the first time ever. We're seeing this here in Saskatchewan. We're seeing this now, some new projects that are being considered down in Houston. I mean, this is exactly what geothermal is from an oil and gas perspective. Essentially, our drilling expertise, our technology is exactly what you would use for developing an oil and gas well, but in our case, without any oil cuts.
I think, when you think energy transition, a lot of people get scared that there's job losses, and this is very direct, transferable technology and knowledge that people understand that, look, my oil and gas job doesn't go away. We could just add this on as another component.
In fact, our drilling design, which uses horizontal drilling expertise, is exactly the same drilling design that's been used for over a decade in the Bakken oil formation. Geothermal can behave exactly like gas. It's always on, it's base load, unlike wind and solar. So we have a capacity factor that exceeds 95%. There is some seasonal fluctuations, but otherwise, this is an always-on energy resource.
So we create the power by, once our wells are drilled, we pump the water out of the well bores, and it comes up to surface and goes through a heat exchanger where the heat is transferred over to working fluid that flashes at a lower temperature. So generally, butane or pentane is the working fluid that's the heat goes into. Flashing of the butane then turns a turbine, which turns a generator and creates electricity. That electricity then goes through the power lines, and it becomes part of the SaskPower grid that is transferred throughout the province. After the process, our water goes back down injection wells to be reheated up by the earth, and the cycle continues. The pentane and butane, or whichever the working fluid, is cooled and is a closed loop system as well. So there's no emissions that come out of our geothermal process that enter the environment. The project was founded by Saskatchewan born and bred geologists from the University of Saskatchewan. The idea came from years and years of oil and gas exploration, data that was accumulated through those drill holes over time, and was spawned into what has now become, kind of a world-renowned next phase geothermal company. We've done as best as we could to this point to have all local services, right from local instrumentation technologists, people, and drillers that are on the rigs. We've used Panther Drilling, which is based out of Weyburn. They've came and drilled some wells for us and done a fantastic job. So our goal is to always make sure that we're using the local services and service providers, and then before we reach out to Western Canada for the rest of it. But basically within Alberta and Saskatchewan, we can take care of all of our needs for the most part.
Our energy will be sold under a contract to SaskPower. So SaskPower is a Crown corporation, has a monopoly on our power grid. The great news is that, from independent power producers' standpoint, is our province is looking for new energy as we grow as a province and as we start to develop a lot more electrification projects, such as even just you see a lot of EV vehicles on the road. We need more power in the province, and we need more clean energy as well.
We've had an incredible amount of support throughout North America on what we're doing with our project, because there's very transferable knowledge that can happen once we prove that we can do it. A lot of the oil and gas basins in North America are looking at us as a first mover to show them that it can be done. We all have a lot of pride in what we do. We all bleed green, having our head office here in Saskatoon. Our bulk of our corporate is here. We all have 306 phone numbers. I think that's important, and we take a lot of pride in the fact that we will be a Saskatchewan company doing something good here.
If you have program ideas you'd like to see on maxTV Local, let us know at SaskTel.com/local.